Have you ever had gnocchi remorse? And that is when you've bought a gnocchi, maybe at a restaurant, and you've even made it, and it's that really doughy flavoured gnocchi. Well, here's a little quick tip or recipe that'll bring your love for gnocchi back. What I want to do, and we're going to do a sauce as well, obviously a tomato-y sauce, creamy tomato sauce with onion. You can see got a whole lot of things ready to go here. Garlic, onion, I had an extra bit of tomato there. Parmesan, some obligatory jalapenos as well. I've actually got a little bit of garlic bread in there, just so while we're preparing this, I'll get that garlic bread going. Now I need to have two of the pans going because I want to do one for the sauce and one for that crispy gnocchi. Now, what I want to do with the gnocchi is, because we've got a bit there, one of the keys I found is actually to make sure the pan's not too full, because if it's too full, you won't get that crispiness from the butter and a little bit of the garlic that we put in. So just let that warm up a little bit, that butter there. You can see that's warming up. That there's for the sauce, so we're going to put our main ingredients in for that sauce. That's just a tomato and onion, and I've got a can of chopped up tomatoes as well. And once that's going enough, we'll put in some of the cream as well. So just a little bit of half and half of that garlic, half in there, half in here. So this just infuses with the gnocchi, and a little bit of salt in that just while that's going. Turn that up a little bit there. Obviously keep your eyes on both. So that's heating up pretty well there. You want a kind of a medium heat for this, don't overdo it. And also with this gnocchi, that's just bought from the supermarket. You could either do make your own. You could try and roll your own potato gnocchi. That's tough, I've never done it, in terms of trying to get that ready. Or you can do a situation where you buy them from the supermarket and they don't need to be pre-cooked, okay? They don't need to be pre-boiled. So about half of the gnocchi in, just enough to cover the base there. Might be a little bit more than half as well. Oop, one got away from me. And just letting that go. And it's about a sort of a 6-7 minute cook, and we won't hold you the whole time, but we'll get that going for around a few minutes and get that really starting to crisp up. So get the heat on that, as you see, kind of a medium heat. This is still going, you can just start to see that cooking up a little bit there, sweating off. Once those onions brown up a little bit, we'll put in the tomato, can of tomato as well. A bit more salt on those. Okay, we might pause there and we'll come back and we'll show you what that's progressed a bit further. Okay, you can hear that starting to crackle a little bit there as that's cooking through a little bit. So the idea is with the butter rather than oil, it will really just start to brown those little bits of gnocchi up. And you actually want them a little bit crisp on the outside, and they're quite soft in the middle. And there we go, that's starting to brown off those onions as well. So with that, we might actually add just a can of that tomato in there. Making sure it doesn't splash on us. Mixing that through. This is really simple, but yet really flavoursome. And again, you might just want to add a little bit of heat to that, not too much. A bit of dried chilli there. Coming back, so you can see those are starting to get a little golden edge on them. That's what we're looking for. If you had a full pan, that makes it difficult to move around and capture that heat from the pan. So that's why I've done kind of half and half, breaking them up there so they get as much exposure to that heat. If you find it's drying off, you might even want to add a tiny little bit of that extra butter. Now I've just got some additional little tomatoes in there, just to put those in. That's not critical. If you're a lover of tomatoes, that's what you put in. Now that's hot enough. Might let that onion just sweat off a little bit more before we add any of that cream, just to make it a kind of a creamy based sauce as well. Whack in a little bit of pepper in that. two different utensils. Yeah, great. Now that's almost done. The reason I say it, because you don't want them to actually break apart, because once they do, they start to probably go a little bit harder and you lose that softness inside. So let me come back to you. I'm going to transfer that into another bowl and then we'll then start the other batch. Let's just do that now. We'll start the other batch with a spatula or something to pick them all up fairly quickly. Now because that's dried up, that heat from the pan, I want to make sure that we give that the additional bit of butter that we didn't use for the other batch. Mixing that in. You probably don't need to put any more garlic in. We've got a fair bit with the others, so you've got enough there. That's going to heat up pretty quickly. So getting those others in, spreading it around. Again, adding a little bit of pepper to it. A little bit of salt. Lots of coming back and forth here. Coming back to that, that's looking fairly good there. I'm going to turn the oven off for that garlic bread. Get a bit of just full cream in there. Again, not too much, just to change the flavour a little bit. So it's not too that tomatoey base with the onions. Perfect. And just probably keeping that on a low heat now. Wonderful. You can hear the gnocchi over here, because that pan's a bit hotter now. I think it's going to be going a bit quicker. We'll break them up as much as possible. Alright, we're just about done there. So what I'll do is we'll plate this up, wait for those two to finish, plate this up and show you the final product. Thanks, Maggie.